Sometimes what hurts most isn't heartbreak. It's realizing you confused attention with love. The texting, the compliments, the chemistry, the late night conversations. None of it necessarily means emotional safety, intentionality, or real care. In today's episode, we're talking about the painful difference between being wanted and being genuinely valued. I invite you to grab your favorite beverage and settle in with me as we explore how to discern attention from love.
Becoming the magnificent me, empowered, strong, and gracefully, with poise and elegance, I can see I am who I was born to be.
Welcome to Becoming Conversations in Elegance and Empowerment, a sanctuary for women who desire to live with purpose, grace, and quiet confidence. I'm Senée, your host, author, and transformation guide. Gentlemen are welcome to listen in, but this space is intentionally crafted for the elegant woman becoming all she's meant to be. If this conversation resonates and you'd like focused private support, I invite you to explore private coaching. You can find more information anytime at becomingpublishing.com. Now, let's step into today's topic. Summer love is something we often look for when we're single. It's the topic of many songs and movies. The excitement of meeting someone new who we have high hopes for being in a relationship with. We almost get a high from all the attention we get from them, their intense interest in us, the compliments of us, the hope of being the object of someone's attention and affection long term. It doesn't just happen in the summer, but this is a time where the spotlight seems to be put on it. We see couples outdoors having fun together, attending events and parties together, and we want that. It can almost make us feel more alone than usual. Many women come to me when they're in this exact emotional space, confused because someone's giving them attention, affection, or access, but the relationship still feels emotionally unstable. The other person may be available one minute and vanish the next. They keep trying to understand, if he likes me this much, why do I still feel anxious? Often the answer is, this happens because attention and emotional investment are not the same thing. Attention can imitate intimacy. It may look like texting all day, social media engagements, flirting, unsolicited compliments, physical chemistry, future talk or making plans together for the future, late night vulnerability. While these things can sometimes appear promising for a future long-term relationship, none of those automatically equal commitments, emotional maturity, consistency, intentionality, or relational safety. Deep down inside, every elegant woman knows this, yet she often wishes it could be more and overrides her inner knowing to wish for the dream to become a reality. I've been there. I've done it myself, and I'm not shaming you if you can identify with this. I'm here to help you the way I wish someone had guided me during my dating process. Let's get real for a few minutes and call this what it actually is. Summer creates emotional intensity quickly. People are outside more, traveling more, drinking more, posting more, reconnecting more, and seeking novelty more. That can create the illusion of closeness before real emotional foundations exist. As I said earlier, summer can be a time where we see couples together looking like they're in love, enjoying being with each other. And let's face it, many of them are enjoying being seen together by other people. If you're single without a partner, it can make you feel even more alone than before. This can cause some people to accept less than suitable people into their lives just to have the potential of having a summer love story. I talked about this in episode 7 this season. If you haven't listened to that episode, I invite you to do so after you're finished here, because I think it will help you get a better understanding of what's actually taking place. We often mistake attention for love because we ignore our inner discernments. That's often quiet voice inside that tells us the truth about people and situations that we may label as judgmental or explain away when red flags or important information is brought up inside our heads. Self-abandonment, when we literally dismiss or ignore ourselves in favor of exalting another person. Over-explaining, when we find ourselves over-explaining our thoughts, words, and actions. This is a signal that something isn't right, and we need to pay attention to what's actually going on internally and externally. Ignoring intuition. This is critical. Our intuition is the aspects of us that sits on our thrones with our crowns on and judges what is and is not right for our lives, our goals, and our well-beings. When we ignore that royal part of us, it creates internal conflict, and we often make mistakes we regret. Often, we don't lose ourselves all at once. Sometimes we lose ourselves gradually through repeated emotional rationalization. Sometimes the hardest part isn't admitting someone else confused attention with love. It's admitting we participated in that confusion ourselves. I invite you to stay with me because next we're going to look at what the research has to say about attention and love. And there's a lot on this topic that will help you see how to navigate dating this summer. If this conversation is resonating and you recognize yourself in what we're discussing, I invite you to apply for private coaching. I work privately with a small number of women each season who are ready to rebuild confidence, strengthen emotional boundaries, and make clear decisions in life and love. This is structured, focused work, not surface motivation. If you're navigating heartbreak or life transitions and you want grounded private support, you can apply at becomingpublishing.com. I personally review every application. Have you ever wondered why attention can feel emotionally addictive? It can temporarily soothe loneliness, insecurity, grief, rejection, and self-doubt, which is why it can feel so emotionally powerful even when the relationship itself lacks stability. Intermittent reinforcement plays a big role in this. Just like it sounds, the enforcement of attention is intermittent, meaning that it's like intermittent fasting and not steady or all the time. It's periodic, usually lasts for a set amount of time, and is very inconsistent. 1 minute, you're being showered with attention, and the next, you could be all alone wondering if he's dead or alive or has changed his phone number or gotten into a car accident and is in a coma and can't communicate. I've had that thought before. It may sound funny, but I've wondered that about some men before when I was dating. Here's what's actually happening. Inconsistent attention creates stronger attachment loops. Unpredictability increases emotional fixation. Research by B.F. Skinner on behavioral reinforcement theory found this to be true based on looking at gambling and reward psychology parallels and attachment activation. One possible explanation is this. In some people, the brain becomes more attached to inconsistent attention rather than stable attention because unpredictability activates reward-seeking behavior. When I was studying substance abuse counseling, it was noted that there tends to be people who are more sensitive to addictive behaviors. So this explanation may not hold true for everyone, but it can be a common encounter. Attachment theory plays a big role in how attention can influence or even hypnotize you. We studied this a lot when I was a research assistant in the Couples Daily Lives Laboratory at the University of Texas at Dallas. Researchers John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth have found in their studies that a person's attachment style can affect how they react to connection. Specifically, those with anxious attachment, whose caregivers may have left, abandoned, or been inconsistent in their lives, tend to be hypervigilant when it comes to emotional inconsistency, and they often seek reassurance. When affection feels inconsistent, people with anxious attachment tendencies may confuse emotional intensity with emotional depth. This need to know if someone will always be there for them can actually cause those who were only in it for fun or for the season to leave. I understand that this feels like a huge loss, but I can tell you that it's actually a blessing. Like I often say, the trash has a way of taking itself out. I'm not calling people trash. I'm just saying that sometimes people remove themselves from our lives before we have the courage or clarity to do it ourselves. Elegant women value quality, so it's important to know if someone is compatible or if they're just validating you. Someone can desire you, admire you, pursue you, fantasize about you, and still not be emotionally available or relationally aligned. Attraction is not the same thing as capacity. It certainly isn't the same as love. You can appreciate attention without making it something it isn't or never will be. I went on a vacation back when I was single early in the summer of 2019 to visit a close friend in Los Angeles. It was surprisingly cool there, and my plans to spend the week on the beach were interrupted. My cute wardrobe also had to be altered because it was unusually cool. We decided to go to dinner one Friday night. I was wearing printed leggings, a sleeveless top, and a hoodie, and my hair was in a ponytail. I was dressed fine for dinner, but I didn't know we would be going out afterwards. I wasn't dressed to impress, but I always look elegant. Not caring, I stepped out of the Uber. Before I could take 2 steps onto the sidewalk, a cute guy who I thought looked like a young Joaquin Phoenix, but my friend said he actually looked like a young Tom Cruise to her. He came running toward me yelling, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" I was standing there thinking, what have I done now? I literally just stepped out of the Uber and onto the sidewalk. I couldn't have done anything yet. My friend and him arrived by me at about the same time. He got right in front of me and said, "Oh my God, I saw your eyes half a block away. You are so beautiful." I smiled and said, "Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say." He went on to ask my name, and when I told him, he said, "Oh my God, you're beautiful and have a pretty name." We didn't get to talk much because a girl in his group pulled him and his friend away, but it was very flattering. Too often, women in my position would go into fantasy attachment mode by filling in gaps, imagining potential, future projection, creating emotional narratives too early. Those few moments of attention that I received were greatly needed at that time in my life, and it made me feel valued and hopeful. That was it. I didn't expect a date, a marriage proposal, or anything else. It was attention, not love, and elegant women know the difference. I let that moment be what it was. I didn't fall into social media distortion by seeking performative attention, stalking him online, making story replies, likes and comments, digital pseudo-intimacy, or checking in behavior. When I was in the dating scene, I saw online dating being just that, focused on online and phone interactions. Many men I met really didn't want to meet me in person. They seemed to just want to chat online or on the phone. Modern dating creates constant microdoses of emotional access. They can feel intimate without requiring actual emotional responsibility. It's important to note how much time you're spending with a man online or on the phone. Sure, you'll probably only see each other on the weekends if you both have busy schedules. Texts and calls can be good fillers to keep the communication going when you can't be together in the same place. But when device dates replace actual in-person experiences, it can be easier to shower someone with attention and remove the responsibility of romance and true care. Research on romantic attraction and reward systems shows anticipation itself can become emotionally intoxicating, especially when connection feels uncertain. Relationship attraction research by Helen Fisher has shown that dopamine and reward anticipation can play a role in the process, with actions such as anticipation loops, reward uncertainty, texting or checking phones, and emotional spikes. So often, the attention, inconsistency, and fantasy attachment experienced in summer romances can feel emotionally overwhelming, even when a real relationship foundation is weak. To explain this, researcher Dorothy Tennove coined the term limerence in her 1979 book, Love and Limerence: The Experience of Being in Love. Limerence is the emotional experience in becoming psychologically consumed by the idea of romantic connection, often before true emotional intimacy, stability, or compatibility actually exist. This often includes obsessive romantic idealization, emotional dependency on reciprocation, and uncertainty intensifying attachments. You may be quietly trying to determine whether you're experiencing real emotional connection or emotional confusion disguised as chemistry. If you're in that space right now, the Clarity Reset was designed for exactly these moments. It's a private 50-minute session where we unpack the situation clearly, calmly, and honestly so you can stop spiraling and start hearing yourself again. You can learn more and book your session anytime without an application at becomingpublishing.com. Real love doesn't just make you feel wanted. It makes you feel emotionally safe enough to remain yourself. I invite you to stay with me because next I'm going to give you some practical ways to help you determine if it's real connection or just seasonal attention. Many of the ideas we're exploring this season are expanded on in my newest book, Becoming Lavishly Loving, available on Spotify, my website, and most online booksellers. It explores intuition, emotional boundaries, and protecting your inner world with elegance. For women who are ready to apply this work in real time, not just understand it intellectually, I offer a private 3-month coaching container where we rebuild confidence and clarity from the inside out. You can learn more and apply at becomingpublishing.com. So what does it actually look like to separate attention from genuine emotional care in real life? Let's ask ourselves some questions. Number 1. Honestly ask yourself, how do I feel between interactions with this person? Calm, secure, at peace, emotionally regulated, anxious, obsessive, uncertain, hypervigilance? Real connection usually increases clarity over time, not confusion. Number 2. If the compliments, chemistry, flirting, and texting disappeared tomorrow, what would actually remain? Values, consistency, efforts, integrity, availability, consistent or inconsistent communication patterns, ghosting, making other people or things their priorities? Attention can create excitement, but real love is revealed through stability, integrity, and emotional presence over time. Number 3, if you're looking for a real lasting connection, it's imperative to observe actions over intensity. I have often said that when starting a new relationship, we need to become deaf to their words and only observe their behaviors. I encourage you to examine a man's temperament in different situations, follow through, consistency, emotional accountability, honesty, pacing, and relational maturity. Intensity can feel impressive in the beginning. Consistency is what sustains emotional safety long term. Number 4, ask yourself, have I become more connected to myself in this relationship or more disconnected from myself? Reconnecting to yourself and making self-love a priority is the elegant woman's superpower for identifying lasting love and appreciating, but not putting much stock into, attention. There was a time in my life just about 5 years ago when I found myself feeling tired. No, I was exhausted. I had been waiting for about 7 years for love to come into my life. I spent the first 5 years of that process completely alone. No dating, no kissing, no hand-holding, no nothing. So I know exactly how it feels to feel lonely, then suddenly start getting attention from men. If you confuse attention with love, it will just exhaust you. Back then, I was exhausted from waiting and exhausted from dating. I was also exhausted from all the times I got my hopes up only to have them dashed. I was just exhausted. I realized that the best thing I could do to express lavishly loving myself was to stop the obsessive thoughts about another person and stop the negative thoughts about spending the rest of my life all alone. I realized in that moment that I had to change my focus to things that I had control over, things that could help others, feed my purpose, and make me feel good. I began focusing on writing, creating new content for my brand, editing existing content, and following through with new ideas and projects I had been thinking about. My spirit began to feel fueled. I began to feel good about myself and my purpose. At the same time, I remained open to receive love while staying protective of myself and who I allowed into my life. You know what happened next? The most wonderful, unexpected man walked into my life. I was ready to give up and stop dating for a while. So was he. However, like I'm always saying, everything happens in divine timing and divine order. We were both ready and have been able to fully appreciate and love all the adventures we have together. Has it been an easy road to happily ever after? As far as the two of us are concerned, it has. More than 4 years together and nearly 2 years of marriage, we're blissfully happy and grow more in love with each other every day. You can have this type of love story too. It starts with recognizing the difference between attention and love. Don't get me wrong, attention can grow into love if and only if you're with a man who is ready and capable of giving and receiving love. You can figure that out pretty quickly by observing his behavior and asking him outright. If he isn't emotionally available, it's fine to appreciate and be grateful for the attention, but building your dreams and your future with that person is a mistake. The elegant woman is wise enough and loves herself enough to wave at all the unsuitable suitors from her convertible as she's driving by in the parade. Even she knows that it's okay to enjoy the attention, but she keeps moving forward and doesn't allow it to stop her. Attention can feel beautiful. Desired can feel intoxicating. Chemistry can feel undeniable, but none of those things automatically equal love. Many women come to me when they're in this exact space, emotionally exhausted from trying to decode mixed signals, inconsistency, and uncertainty while slowly losing connection with themselves in the process. If today's conversation spoke to you, I'd be honored to continue the journey of becoming with you. I invite you to follow the show wherever you like to listen to podcasts for weekly elegance and empowerment conversations. Becoming Conversations in Elegance and Empowerment is recognized among the top elegance podcasts of 2026 by FeedSpot. If you found something enlightening in this episode, be my guest and share it with your fabulous friends who could benefit from these conversations. If this episode spoke to something your heart has been trying to understand quietly, I invite you to explore my latest book, Becoming Lavishly Loving. It's available on Spotify, Audible, most online booksellers, and in my online store. If you're seeking clarity in your own relationships, you can learn more about private coaching and the Clarity Reset through my website at becomingpublishing.com. If you host a podcast or lead a community and feel this conversation would resonate, I'd be honored to be part of that. This is where awareness begins to become something more. Real love creates space for truth, safety, consistency, honesty, and emotional freedom. Often, one of the deepest acts of self-respect is learning not to confuse being chosen temporarily with being genuinely cherished intentionally. Thank you so much for spending time with me on Becoming Conversations in Elegance and Empowerment. If something in today's conversation spoke to you and deeper focused support feels right, I invite you to explore private coaching at becomingpublishing.com. Until next time, stay elegant, stay empowered.
Becoming the magnet.